Hello, Andy. This is Colin. I won't be able to get in tonight. I'm sweating like a pig. I'm sweating like a pig.
Still David, still One Up Gaming, still episode 339 of the One Up Gaming podcast. Observant people might have noticed I've now got a black hoodie on with our logo, and I'm wearing an Alex Kidd hat. That changed from my good old trusty Sega Saturn hat. I just thought I didn't want to wear black and black, so I'm wearing different colours. Hopefully the black hat will come back. Might put a blue t-shirt on afterwards. We'll see what happens. So, episode 339. We'll go through some of the games that we've played this week. So first of all, I will just sort of say Terminator Resistance, and this one I think it's Reef Entertainment, something like that. They used to make those static that looked like light gun games with the military. I can't remember what the hell they were called now, but they were very basic. They did the Rambo game years ago, the Rambo sort of thing, where it's like a very static. It looked like it would be a light gun game, but there's no light guns anymore, so it's a very static game. You control the crosshair and shoot things. This one is a lot more interactive. It is a proper first-person shooter, and yeah, it is actually properly first-person. It plays well enough, it looks well enough, but you can tell that it is a low-budget sort of game. It's probably one of the best games that these developers have made in their sort of like gaming history. I found it quite enjoyable. Some of the enemies I didn't quite enjoy, like the little flying ones, because they were just skittling around. Imagine Halo 5, when I can't remember any of the names, I do apologise, but those like flying things, they're just too fast and zippy and you get a bit annoyed. But the game itself plays well, looks nice, the story seems quite nice. So I will say that the Terminator Resistance is probably one of the better Terminator games that I've actually played. So if you're interested in Terminator, give it a go. It's not a bad little game. Next up, Dakar Desert Rally, and this one, it came out last year, and I don't know if it was just because it was one of the only sort of high-ish budget racing games came out at the end of last year, and it's the big sort of selling point for the game is saying that it's the largest open world terrain map created in a racing game. It looks nice, it feels bad, but the graphics are really nice, the terrain looks gorgeous, the environment looks gorgeous, the cars look nice. It's a simple fact of the handling model, it just feels off. It feels like you're driving a shopping trolley, it just doesn't turn. Everything's so heavy and weighty, and if that was fixed and made it a bit more snappy and a bit more responsive, it probably would play better. Because it looks really good, it's a nice little game, and it's just unfortunately the actual, that part of that game, you know, the actual, just the feel of it, the handling, it's just not there. It's just not there at all. Me, I'm an idiot. I got real good enjoyment from the game. I would probably put a bit more time into it, and I enjoyed what I played. So for idiots like me, I enjoyed it. So hopefully, if you give it a quick go and see what you think. I think it was on sale not that long ago. But yeah, Dakar Desert Rally, it's better than the last Dakar sort of games that came out, but it's good. You can do point-to-point racing, do proper circuit track racing, and do the proper Dakar sort of thing where it's got like grids and places where you have to get to, then turn around and go somewhere else, and it's interesting. It's different. So yeah. Next up, Mars Horizon. Now this one, this is where I should do research, but it's very much like that game that came out years ago now, where it's those little tiny alien looking things that you have to develop space shuttles, rockets and things, and blast off and land on the moon and come back to Earth and all that. It's like that, but it looks even more baby simplified. Because that other game, I really should Google. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it today. I'm really tired, and I just want to get this recording over and done. But yeah, this game, it's like that. You get contracts, you have to send rockets up into space, you have to put the satellites up, then you have to go to the moon, then you have to go to Mars, and all this sort of stuff. I love these sort of games. It's a shame that I am not the most intelligent person, so when I'm playing these games, I'm out of my depth with what is going on and what happens. But I'm an idiot. I can see that the game's good, and if you enjoy more complex sort of games, then this is perfect. It's a good little game. Next up, a game called Slipstream, and this one is inspired, like the Sega, the arcade 32 sort of style things that run Golden Axe, Death of Blackadder, and I guess it was like a lot of the Outrunners I think ran on it, and probably Outrun as well, to be fair. Nah, it might have been too early, don't know. But it's like a sprite scaling game, and it's like not 3D, and it's fast, it's smooth, it's fluid, looks really nice. The only problem I had with the game was when you were getting up to full speed and the backgrounds were whizzing past. Some of the backgrounds, it kind of like because it's not full 3D, so you can't go through tunnels. It's 2D pictures overlaid, and as you're going along, you see the 111, and it kind of just has a flicker effect, and it gave me like a headache and dizziness. But the gameplay is really nice. The handling's good. I do like this game, and I would like more people to play this game. So next up, Capcom Fighting Collection, and this one, it's got, I think is it 8 games, 10 games, something like that. So it's got a lot of the Darkstalkers sort of game. It's got 1, 2 and 3, maybe 4, I don't know how many there was. And I didn't like the Darkstalkers game because they go from like Vampire Savior to Darkstalkers to Vampire Savior to Vampire Savior 2, and all, it's weird. Don't change names in the middle of series, it's just weird. They do have the, is it the Super Street Fighter? No, is it Hyper Street Fighter 2 Turbo? I don't know. It's got one of the Street Fighter 2 games in there. It's got a robot game, so is it Cybots? Like a robot fighting sort of game. And it's got, is it Red Earth? Which looks really nice, pretty game. And they're all 2D sort of style art games, and yeah, if you like Capcom, give it a blast. It's got a couple of games that hasn't really come to consoles before, so it's got a few games there that you might have not played or might have never heard of. Next game we have Escape String, and this one is, I mean, how the hell do you explain it? It's a 2D hand-drawn looking sort of game where you have to get from one side of the screen to the exit on the other side of the screen, and you don't have direct control over your character. You have to input your controls or your commands, and then you hit play, and then your character performs those commands. So say you hit forward, forward, down, forward, up, up, forward, forward, forward. Your man would walk 1 step, 2 step, crouch, crouch forward, stand up, do a jump, and then walk forward a few times. And it's you need to watch the environment, watch the environmental dangers and hazards. So there's pits, there's spikes, there's other robots, there's electricity, things like that you have to try and avoid as you're going through. And it's just like a nice puzzle game, and I enjoyed it. It's basic, it's really cheap, so think about that when you're going to look for a little cheap game just to have a mess around on. We do have videos of all these games up on our YouTube channel, so please check that out. But yeah, it's a nice art style, nice little game. So next up, and the last game that we've really played this week, End Zone, A World Apart. And I must admit, I got sent this game to review, and when I saw the cover of the title screen sort of thing, and started to read about it, I just thought it was another survival to like 3D sort of like third person action adventure sort of game, or a first person sort of game, similar in mould to, oh god, any of these sort of like survival games. You know, there's thousands of them everywhere, but I was completely gobsmacked and surprised. This game is a strategy game in the similar mould to like the Command and Conquer sort of style games, full 3D, full over the top view, zoom in, zoom round, rotate the levels, things like that. Looked gorgeous, complicated to hell. I was completely out of my depth. I was holding the walls crying. This game was so complicated to get into. It might be worse on a control pad on the Xbox, but I was like randomly pressing buttons and I didn't know what I was doing. I can see that there is an amazing game here, and I can tell that it looks amazing. So if you are into strategy games, like really deep strategy games, this game could be amazing for you. And the game itself is like a post-apocalyptic sort of game, so you're creating new worlds and mankind and futures and things, and that is the games we've been playing this week. I will just mention that we do have a review up on our website and on the YouTube channel for Space Ribbon Slipstream to the Extreme, and this is a really weird game where you're racing on what are essentially like the Mario Kart Rainbow Roads. So it's very like up, down, left, right, sort of like roller coaster style levels in space, and you have to try and become first and hit a flying skull where the track's coming out of his mouth. It's a weird game, it's a very surreal game. I quite enjoyed it. It's got elements of games that are really fun, and it's really cheap. It's a real cheap budget game, and it's not a bad little game, so have a look at that. So that was Space Ribbon. Please check out our other videos, so the Gran Turismo 7 series, the OUG's Fantasy Football with Football Manager 23 Mobile, And I'll just mention these next ones. We haven't done them for a while, but the Evercade, Star Trek Online, Worst Games Ever, and the Ridge Racer 6 series. And that is episode 339 of the One Up Game podcast. So me, David, saying thank you all for watching. We'll be back after this quick break with this week's news. So, see ya!